What's up, Buttercups? How are you? Welcome to the second episode of the Astrology Sessions. I am your astrology coach, Leah Gillis, and the idea here is I'm going to give you some tips on the astrology of the upcoming week and what's going on so that you can use it to make your life better, which in turn makes the world at large better, right? Because they go together, right? It takes all of us. Sunday starts the new moon of Taurus, which is really when the month begins emotionally. The moon being our interior world, when that begins, it gets real. And that's why it's always marked, right? That's why it's when all the astrologers, it's on calendars, the new moon of Taurus. And so with that starting, what's Taurus all about? Okay, it's about stuff. It's about food. As I wrote in my article on the website, there's a lot of articles there for you guys to check out. Lux is life. To me, luxury is the thing I think about when I think of Taurus. And frankly, it gets a bad rap. But, a lot in our world does. Part of that is how we have morphed the meaning of things. Luxury, the root word is lux, meaning light. That's it. It's a light-filled item. It brings you joy. It's very Marie Kondo. That's what luxury is. And doesn't that make sense? So, doesn't have to be a Birkin bag, right? Doesn't have to be a Birkin bag. And for most people, they know that the real value is not a thing, right? A delicious meal is made so special and memorable because of the people you're with and what goes on and the feeling there, right? Conversely, some of the best meals and afternoons I've had like a sandwich at a park with somebody because it's not about the thing. It's about the light, the energy. Now I say that, listen, it is all fantastic and well to want the best, right? To have a beautiful home and to live in a beautiful space and to wear nice clothes and tailored and all that. Fantastic. It's from the light. We love this. We love this about Taurus. However, what has happened in our world, oh humans, is that it's gotten a little dirty. And it's become a status, it's become a code for something, which it's not, because first of all, it's a personal preference. And second of all, who cares? Keep your eyes on your own board, right? Focus on what brings you light and love. I give you this example. A lot of times in life, and I think right now we can see that in the world, people are realizing things they have chased for other people, for their family, for a position in society. But at the end of the day, they don't have support. They don't have love. They don't have community. We've seen far too many tragic examples of people with a lot of money and with status jobs committing suicide, right? We've seen so many tragic tales of this. And one of the things that is so incumbent upon us is to use astrology for unity and love and light. When we find ourselves getting away from each other, from chasing, when we realize we're chasing a thing, rather than joy, laughter, safety, security, big issues in Taurus, we've missed the point. And a lot of the time, especially in the earth signs, which are months, which Taurus is, which are months about building, we can lose the forest for the trees, right? We don't see things as they are. And instead, we focus on big things that don't matter, perceptions that don't matter, rather than what actually brings us joy and what we really want. Now, when I say all that, it sort of sounds all nice and good. Like, okay, I want what I want and I'm not going to get too caught up in it. But the truth is, the thing that Taurus really teaches us is it rules the second house, which is our self-worth. It's a house linked to money. It's a month linked to money, abundance, prosperity, all these wonderful things. But to what end, right? If you're sitting on a pile of money and lonely, not good. If you're sitting on a pile of money and you haven't done good with it, what good is that? You know what I mean? What are we chasing? Because in truth, the things in our world don't bring us stability. Ask a lot of people in finance in these last few weeks that have a lot of money how secure they're feeling. Their 10 million went to 5 million, or their 1 million went to a 500,000. And for a lot of people, it's like, okay, yeah, that's not a problem. But you try losing 5 million, right? We all want to. But the point is, it's easier, A, when you don't have it, but B, look at what you're valuing so that you can make sure that you're accruing what you actually want, what fills you up. Because the true story, little real talk for you Tauruses, a lot of time the thing that they're searching for, and this is true obviously for all of us, but in this month we can see it, is not the thing that's going to bring them joy, right? You have a big house, you don't feel loved, more money, more problems. The song says it. So what are we chasing? If we want stability, it's a beautiful thing. However, we live in a world where a mudslide comes, a hurricane, terrible natural disasters, let alone the human disasters, right? Freak accidents, things happening. We live in a world that is not stable. We don't have to make it worse, but we also want to work with the realities of this world. And a lot of times the chasing for things, for a bag, for status, for people to think something, it's empty. We also see this in how many people have money and lose money, right? They have the perfect family, they marry the perfect person on paper. Oh, I know. And what does that get us? So in this month, which is so the month of, like I said, abundance and prosperity, but it's a month also, as the Kabbalists teach, that link us to health. That is really something I want us to focus on, because when we're out there searching for things that don't end up actually bringing us lasting fulfillment, what have we done? We end up emptier, right? We've all had that. The person we chase, the job we chase, the town we chase, as Sagittarius, it's never out there. It's in here. One of the cards in the tarot deck is the King of Pentacles, and he's got so much stuff all around him, and it's a suit linked to earth signs and prosperity and abundance. Obviously health is wealth, but if you're stifled by all this stuff, then what have you done? So this is a month to really take that consciousness and focus. What is it that you want to build? Because you can build it. We love the Earth sign month because it is the time to get and build what we want. We can make progress, and it's lasting progress. It's magic. We love this. Use it. And you only use it when you're real with yourself. Listen, we all chase things. We all have these problems. And we all have to also be real with ourselves. In my article this month on Taurus on the website, as I always do, I highlight a list of well-known Taurians. Now, I never like this part of the conversation with Taurus, but we have to be real. And remember, we have all the signs in our chart, so we all have Taurus somewhere in our chart. Some of just the really not greatest people in history have been Taurus. They have plundered and murdered and stolen and been greedy and selfish and hateful and hurtful. But what if those people had used their powers for good? On the opposite side of all the bad someone does, they can do just as much good. So in this month, there is such a passion and a desire for things. Let's fuel it towards things that bring us energy, life, vitality, health, as well as our community. Because once again, they're going to go together, right? Wonderful. Please accumulate all the wealth. And then what are you going to do? Because if you don't share, especially being here in France, what's the lesson of that? Didn't go so well for those folks in the 1700s, which is why they have the current government. See how it all links? It's like these traits that we all have in us. We want things and we want to feel stable. We live in a world where that's just, it's something we can enjoy, yes, but we also have to go, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but with the vicissitudes of life. That's right. Yeah, I just threw vicissitudes out there. Oh my God. Oh, sometimes I satch myself. So in this month, take charge. It's a beautiful time on the new moon, so the day before and the day of, Write down a list of what you want in areas of your health. And of course, that's physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, right? Look at what you want from love. Are you nourished? Do you feel love? Do you give love? Animals are great. We have to. And people, have you closed off, especially in these past years? And so many people realizing the people around them don't mirror their values, or they realize they've erred in things they've done and said, and they want to change. So it's a really important time to look at love in our lives, love that we're giving, love that we're receiving, and is it there? Beauty. Listen, the arts are clutch. And what's the point of being here if we can't enjoy and create, whether it's a meal, which Taurians love, or a beautiful piece of art, or appreciating it? I happen to be a terrible artist, but I love it. It soothes something in me, whether it's poetry. We deserve to have these pleasures. The other part is, of course, our money, our finances, our foundations. Do we have them? I mean, let's look at the world. It's a hot mess. Real talk. Where do we need to be stronger? Do we need to ask for help? Do we need to do other things? Do we need to be a little Taurian, which is like, okay, brass tacks, let's deal with what's actually here, As a Sagittarius, it's sort of anathema, but it's clutch. It's clutch, and it's actually beautiful, because from then you can grow. A lot of times the earth signs can get a bad rap, and especially Taurians, as I've talked about, a lot of people in history that weren't so great. But again, there was the potential there to do so much. There is the potential in this month to do and create and have a lot. Let's get it. It's there. We just have to make sure we're doing it in a way that serves us and our communities. Okay, I think I've made that point. Sag getting a little saggy there. So in this month, when you are finding yourself being a little too focused on the money, the thing, what am I getting, what am I doing? Because it's a month where you can start seeing yourself, because remember, we're all Taurus. We all take on these traits in the month. You might start seeing yourself being a little more bottom line, which is great. However, if you're excluding others, if you're making sure you have food and the person next to you doesn't, it's no bueno. We can't have hungry people. We can't have unhoused people. We can't have unhealthy people. America right now in particular, huge problem with us allowing people to be unhealthy, not getting the proper health care, and also nobody taking care of them. And then we wonder why they do something terrible, or they're on the streets. I mean, outlawing people that are homeless, making them pay a fine, like debtor's prison, anyone? I mean, it's just bananas. And these sorts of ideas, they permeate into our society, which is why it's so important in these months to think about these issues. Do you volunteer? Are you giving back? Whatever you can and however you can, because it might not be money, but it could be your expertise. It could be your talent for sewing, and you have a circle and you have community. There's actually groups here I know of women who get together and they sew, and it's a community expat group, and it's a wonderful thing because they get together. The value is what we give it. Second house is on worth, on money, and value. Our dollars and our euros mean nothing if that system means nothing, right? The value we give is what is the meaning. And this is the month to really think about that and to live that. Because I'm going to go on the other challenging side. I know I do this, but yes, we want to be about health and eating well and all the beautiful things and beauty, but we have to look at the challenging traits, so we work on those. I mean, what's a coach for if to not point that out? Good morning. What I want you to do is, as things come up, maybe write them down. Look at where you're preoccupied. Look at what starts to come over. Of course, bills, paying, yes, but people are starting to switch to a system where There's more community minded where people help each other, whether it's babysitting, food co-ops, around here in Paris. And I know, places in Brooklyn, I know Atlanta, of course, Los Angeles. There are organizations where you can bring your materials to pick up your goods, so you're not using plastic, you're reusing in every way. Containers for your grains and your flour. We've gotten to a world where the idea that something is just reusable is bananas, and it doesn't serve. It's very much about back to the basics. What is the value? What is our value? And what value are we bringing to our community? And yes, it's with dollars, but it's far more with our cents. As in S-E-N-S-E. That sense. I was doing a little wordplay. Anyway, so this month, be about that life. Get the Lux, please. Call me, share with me. I want to see it. But if you're doing it because you want it to look good, that's not going to lead to something fulfilling and actual joy. So let's all cut the crap and be real, because maybe you do want to be far away and, go on Lux vacations, but maybe you just want to be home. I think it was Willa Cather said that a quiet life is also a life of daring. Something like that, but it's a good quote. And that is the power. What do we value as daring? I think daring is also people creating a family and staying in their town and building and rebuilding. Daring is also moving across the world and learning other languages. We just have to learn to value other people's choices more and be real about what we do value. Because with so much we're seeing, people have been pretending to value things that just don't matter, whether it's Botox and injections or rock hard abs or, stocks and bonds, which are what? Like, it's not a thing, Somebody being able to build something, a mechanic, a builder, I think a dairy farmer. Come on, making cheese, that's useful and important. But really take this month to look at what we value, because this month builds, right? So we have the Aries fire that we just had. It's like, yes, this is what I want. I'm going to go for it. Fantastic. Now it's time to plant those seeds. Now it's time to tend to them. Might not see a lot of progress right now, but tend to them, because they will always grow. The second key thing, and that is happening Sunday, but I want you to be mindful of this. At the end of May, which is in only a month, Saturn is going to be going into Aries. It has been in Pisces for the last few years. Now, this is wrapping up a cycle, because Pisces is always about, it's the last sign of the zodiac. Something is wrapping up. Saturn is also known as the Lord of Karma, which is, wrapping up. Pisces is also the consciousness that we all share. And it's also about karma on a global scale, as well as our personal. And so Saturn likes boundaries and order and a plan, and we're going to build and we're going to do it this way. And Pisces is the endless. It's like all the ideas, and it's all beautiful and love, and we love that. See how those two working together is a little bit tricky. So in this last month, now later this year, Saturn's going to go back into Pisces for a bit in November for a few months. But basically in this last month, in this area of your chart where Pisces is, where Saturn is, where you're going to be seeing the final degrees of a lesson being imparted towards you. So you're going to feel a bit of a squeeze. Okay, a bit. It's Saturn. You're going to feel a squeeze. And we're all seeing it. Oh my God. Saturn rules government, business. Hello, America. I'm using that as an example because I'm an American, but hello. We know this is true in all the countries and everywhere, in homes as well, right? Because Saturn rules the father too. So it's this top-down dogma that we're just like, it doesn't work. And Pisces is just like, it doesn't work. With mercy, because Pisces is all about love and mercy. It does not want to be harsh. And Saturn is like, you're going to learn this lesson. I'm going to make you learn this lesson so you never have to go through it again. It's like that hard teacher that's like brutal, but ends up being your favorite teacher because you're forever changed for the better. That's what's happening. And it's extreme. And if you look in your own life, I personally have Saturn in Cancer, which is 8th house, but I have Pisces in my 4th house, which is home. Saturn is like, okay, where are you putting down roots? What's going on? Pisces is like, I don't know. And it's very much about mother, father. And so for me, it's been like, where is home? Literally, where do I live? But also, where is home? And I use myself as an example because wherever you find it in your chart in these past few years, you've been going through it. You have to remember it's been with mercy, because Pisces is mercy. And that is what we want to take from this period. So as you're going through these lessons, remember it's with mercy. Where can you give mercy? Where can you give mercy to others? Where can you give mercy to yourself as you're going through these challenges? Again, this year has extreme astrology, meaning so many things are changing in profound ways. As I spoke about last week, we have so much earth, water going into fire and air in our global chart. So it's a transition. We want to take all the Pisces that we've had in mercy, in love, in care, in empathy. Use it. Use it when setting boundaries with people, right? Use it with yourself. There's no perfect way to do it, right? That's why when people say, I give different people different advice, because how their makeup and how they live it is different. So for all of us, we are being asked, before we start this new cycle on May 24th, May 25th, how are your boundaries? Are they with love for yourself and the other? Do they serve the greater? Are you using your heart? Are you balancing your heart and your head? It's a beautiful lesson. It's just, we're human, so we can get a little twisted. Keep that in mind. The other sort of background as we go through this year that I just want to remind you about is the North Node is in Pisces and the South Node is in Virgo. And that's going to last for 16 more months, basically through next fall. Why is that so important to keep in the back of your mind? Because as we're going through these changes, so Saturn is going to go into Aries, which is fiery. Neptune is now in Aries. So it's like the first sign of the zodiac. Let's get them. Let's do it. We got this. I have this idea. I want to do that thing. I love you. Let me gas you up. I've got courage. Everything is possible. We're so down for it. We love the beginning. We also have to watch ourselves. We have to watch that we're not just about ourselves, that we're also for the other, making other people's dreams come true, making sure other people are gassed up and excited and being there for them, which is something that, Aries are very loving people, but it can be in a childish way. And we don't have time for that. We have to employ the best of ourselves. Honestly, get therapy if you need to, because with this North Node in Pisces is reminding us in this era of grand changes this year, your heart, your love, your care must be the beacon you lead with. That's for all of us. If you have it major in your chart, big time. It's the rule. Love, care, empathy, it's the rule. So too is creativity and dreams coming true. But that's the main takeaway. Why is that so obvious? Because the other side is Virgo. And that is in the South Node, which is a karma point. I hate to say that because it's so tingy and it's not, I don't want us to be lazy about it. It's not like, something bad will happen. It's look at what we're doing. Are we acting with care towards that other person? Are we doing it just for ourselves because it makes our lives easier? A Pisces would never. A Pisces has care. A Virgo has huge care and huge heart. However, because it's in the South Node, are we judging? There's so much, they're an idiot, they're a moron, they don't care. That. Take 5 seconds. All these terrible adults were children that clearly were not loved. I didn't get into, clearly not breastfed, but my point is they weren't loved, right? Nobody becomes a hateful person That's happy and fulfilled, right? And I'm not saying we don't have to combat this, but if we look at what we're getting with being a judgmental self, these next, year and a half is gonna go pretty not good karmically. Everybody's gonna be judging everybody, and that gets us where? Using love, using empathy, using care, building bridges, that is Piscean. That's what the cosmos is showing us in a time where there's so much fire, me, ideas, I'm so smart, Pluto and Aquarius. Aquarians are brilliant. The heart is what's needed. They can change the whole world, and Aquarius's work is one-on-one relationships. So in this year, definitely in this next week, but as you're overarching, when you're going through anything, fall back on that Pisces. Are you using care? Are you using your heart? Are you feeling the other person? Maybe they're the worst in the world. I've sat across as a journalist, literally furthermore, the worst people in the world. Worst people in the world. Murderers, killers, including the politicians and business people that are like that. Where does that get us? The United Nations to me was always, aside from its big time uselessness in so many ways, it's a place where people are often just talking at each other, and it's for show rather than actual care, actually doing things. And listen, it takes work. We see this with all the conflicts. People are arguing that it's okay for war because of some wrongs that they very rightly fear could happen, or at the same time ignoring other wars because it just doesn't affect them. Everything affects us all. That's what Pisces shows us. So make that your guiding light. What would a Pisces do? Jesus. What would Jesus do? Moses was a Pisces. All these Pisceans, what would they do? There would be understanding. Nobody's getting walked over because the victim side of the Pisces, but in this period, use your heart, connect with others. If you need to take 5 and you can't talk to somebody, fantastic. We love that for you. Take a break. Come back to the conversation, right? Maybe agree to disagree, but also maybe agree to come back when people are cooler headed. It can do wonders for any argument, whether it's family, coworkers, it's about politics. People like to talk about politics like it's something outside of personal relations. That's all it is. That's all it is. How are we going to treat another person? No person is illegal. Borders are arbitrary. Just remember that. So yeah, take this Pisces lesson as we're starting the month of Taurus with the new moon on Sunday. Write down your goals, your personal goals, everything you want. Like, you want that car? I want that car for you. The universe wants it for you. Get it. But you got to be honest about what it is you want so that it can bring you fulfillment. How many of us have gotten things and gone, not so much. It's kind of how I got led to astrology. It's definitely how I got led to astrology and a more spiritual life, because I thought I wanted to live in New York City and have the big life. But I realized that the big life is actually the one I think is big, right? The one that's meaningful. And I thought that would be working for NBC Network News. And I thought that would be when I got pretty much to the top of the game at like 23. I was in as a staffer and I could have rode that job for the rest of my life. But I was miserable. And I was miserable because I was watching people make terrible decisions based on status, based on wanting to keep the status quo, which was exactly the opposite of becoming a journalist. But I belong to the world of actual sort of gumshoe journalists that don't do it for the Ivy League, big business reasons that, all industries can become when they've lost sight. So we all have our path. We all have our times. It's not like I'm completely without any sort of, obviously not without any sort of issues in these ways or things I get caught up in. But when we use the astrology to remind us, am I thinking about myself here? Am I thinking about the other? What's really going to make me happy? what's really going to make my family and my friends and my life more fulfilling, oftentimes it becomes really simple what to do and how to be. So those are your Astro Coach tips for the week. Good luck. Breathe, hydrate, take walks in the woods. Like I said, woods, bears, but like nature, connect with nature, stillness, meditation. As I said, it's the month of healing. So connect to whatever healing modalities you're called to, especially in the foods you eat, in what you speak about, in who you speak to. You deserve it to be healthy, and you deserve the support. And this month is trying to give it to you. So go get it. Bisous.